think this match actually has the most potential for an upset, right? We're talking about Rival not being warmed up and Nocturns being the opposite. I think game one is very, very important here. This is only a best of 3, remember, so if Nocturns can manage to take game one, they can carry that momentum again into Rival. Maybe you take it a 2-0. If it was a best of 5, I'd be a little less confident in Nocturns, but I think Nocturns could do it in a best of 3.
Well, like I was saying earlier, Alpha Jackal is such an important part of this team, and I'm sure he's been doing his research, watching these games being played. Taco, if you were Alpha Jackal, what is one of the first gods you're going to want to take away?
Well,
besides RDO.
Rival, it's going to be hard. I could maybe even see a potential Sylvanas ban, but knowing this, they might also stray a little bit more from what we've seen as far as typical picks and bans, and actually it was a Sylvanas.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to, or they don't want to have Night to Lover on Sylvanas again. He was so good, just his pulls were fantastic, and he provided such good peel and support.
Yeah, and it was important to ban that Sylvanas after the Nocturns banned the Odin. Now it takes away, Odin's one of Sylvanas' harder counters, so if they're going to not allow Rival to have Odin and take Sylvanas for themselves, then that would leave Rival in a not so great position. So to take away the Sylvanas removes that problem.
Not to mention, for Rival, it's a little bit questionable since the Odin's already been eliminated. It's not unkeen for Wolf to play Isis.
Yeah, that's true. But let's see. I mean, no ADC's banned here, surprisingly.
Well, the main thing is, as the competition continues to progress, we're going to see a little bit more of target ban selection as opposed to what the public has probably been seeing throughout the season. In competitive play, it's usually more important to focus on a single individual or focus on what's going to make your draft be better than just banning away gods that are seen as visibly strong.
Well, how do you ban out Rival?
I think focus bans towards the solo side and jungle side of the map. You know, I think we talked a little about it during yesterday's games with Nocturne versus Scylla. If you can slow down, if they want to play a slow game, they need to target bans those on the solo side where the early pressure's coming out and buy them time.
Especially we heard the crowd, right? Deathwalker seems to be the fan favorite here right now, so it looks like they are going to focus him out.
At the same time, how do you ban out Deathwalker?
The Ullr ban, of course. You don't want him to have it. Although we did see yesterday during the console games that Ullr versus AMC, or like they didn't really prioritize him.
It's a little bit different for a console because of the controller and certain limitations make Ullr not necessarily the most favored in the console scene, but for PC, mouse and keyboard, MOBAs are basically born for this.
I see a shift at the start of day one. We saw people prioritizing AMC, and now it looks like people are first picking Raijin.
Yeah, I mean, we see Raijin almost every game so far. It looks like everyone's just decided that's the in-meta, that's the go-to right now. But I am surprised to see the AMC left open for Nocturnes. Maybe they're just not respecting the duo lane much?
Well, Zion 6 didn't play AMC at all. He was very comfortable with Hachiman, so I don't think they're really going to focus too much on AMC. We might even see an AMC on Rival side.
It's going to be a little bit
late there it is.
Nocturne's making quick work of that one. And you asked earlier, how do you really focus out banning Rival? I don't think it's necessarily trying to ban out any individual member of Rival as much as it is trying to prevent their draft from accomplishing what they like to look for, and that is utility.
Totally. Utility, Wolfie definitely loves that Giannis play with that utility that you get, just being able to secure, move your teammates across and rotate. It's very important. And there it is, the AMC lock-in. On the other side, we have Fafnir and Erlang Shen. A very tanky comp going over from Rival. Good early aggression.
Yeah, not sure where this Erlang Shen's going to go. I don't particularly like the matchup in solo versus Osiris, but I guess we'll see how that plays out. It is Deathwalker after all.
I'm fairly certain that that'll probably be Erlang Shen for the solo lane. Talking to Deathwalker a little bit earlier on this week, he was mentioning that maybe sticking a little bit more conventional for Worlds. And on top of that, back at Valencia, actually, for the Masters LAN, he was nonstop raving about Erlang Shen probably being the best solo laner at the time. Granted, that was a few months ago, so a lot is bound to change with meta shifts.
All right, we see this Sobek here, and Ro, you were saying that Osiris is going to be in the solo lane. Do you think that now Sobek's going to be a solo lane, or is it going to be support?
I mean, sure, we could see Osiris jungle, but I would suspect to see Osiris solo with the Sobek in the support role.
Okay. And then we got a Hachiman ban coming out of Nocturnes. I'm guessing they are just trying to ban out anything that Rival could potentially have over in the duo lane.
They picked it yesterday and they banned it now. It looks like they respect their god quite a lot.
Especially considering that Hachiman's probably one of the better gods for faring against an AMC in the duo lane. AMC has a whole lot of poke potential, a ton of boxing potential, as we've already gotten to witness. And of course, Hachi, the Heavenly Banner plus Bluestone makes it all too easy. I love that selection, though, by Rival to eliminate the Circuit.
Looks like they're really afraid of SMITE on Circuit.
Yeah, I mean, they would be after seeing yesterday. So it looks like also they're just assuming that Osiris is the solo laner and Sobek is the support by banning out a jungle.
Can maybe see a Rival, depending on how Nocturnes or depending on what Nocturns decides to ban here, maybe looking for a Ratataskor, put a little bit of emphasis on that AMC, a lot of pressure, get some early ganks in. Plus, Ice is really great on that god.
You know, yesterday when we saw Scylla versus Nocturne, Scylla was really afraid of the mid lane, and I'm surprised that we're not seeing them really focus, or I'm surprised we're not seeing Rival focused on the mid lane, but we do see a Ratataskor ban coming out.
Yeah, and once again, looks like they're assuming that the Erlang Shen is in the solo and banning out a jungle god. That being said, we've seen Ratatoskr solo just like last year. I think Variety played it quite a lot in the solo lane.
He's always been one of those picks where you can kind of flex it in any direction, despite being small in stature. He packs a pretty big punch, and for a Rival, considering that Nocturnes hasn't selected a mid yet, I'd actually maybe like your Rob in here, and instead, they're going to eliminate Isis.
You have to eliminate Isis. Nas Q on Isis just set up so much, and of course, she might have not enough sustain and might not be able to escape, but that ultimate just sets up so much, and especially when you have a good combo, if you put that Sobek and Isis together with the pluck and silence and stun, it'll be phenomenal. But look what we see out of here. Dodgy, we saw her once yesterday, and she devastated the game.
This is going to be a very interesting matchup for Rival, especially with that response of Robin. You're basically fighting aggression with aggression back to back, and Dodgy, she just has so much burn potential of your health bar as soon as she targets you that it becomes incredibly difficult to not get poked out by her.
Yeah, but really, the only so far she can rip through Raijin and I think the Medusa that we're going to see here, yes. So those are her two targets this game. She's really not going to be able to touch Fafnir, Erlang, or Raven, which is great picks by Rival.
What do you guys think about this Medusa pickup, Taco?
I love the Medusa because it kind of just fits in with the rest of Rival's.
Whoa!
They have control in space.
I'm sorry, Taco. They need to stop hovering over Anubis if they're not going to pick him.
It happens every year, unless you're best, and then you actually get
you actually pick it. All right, we got Discordia coming out. We got to see her as well a few times, and she just has so much easy damage.
Yeah, great bit of utility as well, and a lot of damage. I think perfect fit into Nocturne's comp here.
All right, looking at Rival versus Nocturnes, obviously Rival being the #1 seed team from EU, but who do you give it to?
I would have to give it to Rival because they have so much crowd control in comparison to Nocturne with the pure burst.
Yeah, I agree, and the exact same reasons as well. Nocturnes have a very high reward, high risk comp. I don't think it's going to pay off here.
All right, guys, it's game #1 of Rival versus Nocturnes. Make some noise and let's head to the casters.
Thank you very much, Kelly. I'm here with Anatoly. Anatoly, a Daji pick?
It's
First
amazing.
game of the quarterfinals?
This is just going to the wall here already.
Yeah.
Starting things off with a nice little flare. I love what Nocturnes did with their picks, but more importantly, what Rival did to try to combat that is the pure aggression. This Robin selection with Erlang Shen, it's going to be very difficult for Nocturnes to keep their backline alive.
We saw Scylla yesterday consistently picking this Raven jungle, and it didn't really pay off for them. It seemed like Nocturnes really knew how to play around that Raven. Do you think that today, up against Ice Baby's Raven, they'll have the same success?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily try to focus Ice Baby. It's going to be difficult to invade his speed buff, potentially. Daji really thrives once you get a little bit of penetration online. You're going to really try to go onto Wolfie, onto Vote, specifically those two squishy backliners instead.
We got the Raijin for Wolfie here, a lot of early pressure. How does his opposite number, Nozq, with Discordia do in the early game?
I think that they're going to have an easy time in terms of clearing the wave. Wolfie on the Raijin is one of the easiest gods. However, Nocturnes, you have a Musin comp paired up with Discordia, and that's the factor that's going to tilt it into Nocturnes' favor.
All right, we've got two great solo laners going at it today as well. Beltway up against Deathwalker, and Deathwalker, we heard the crowd go wild for him before. Such a popular player now, really establishing himself as a big name in the scene.
Between his different itemization choices, between his different god selections, you know, streaming consistently as well, he has a lot of personality and he's not really afraid to show it. He was even doing his little death glare earlier on, trying to do his best Captain Twig impression.
All right, Zion 6 and Vote. Trading auto attacks here. Zion getting the better of it first, but now we're here in the solo lane. Beltway and SMITE taking some damage from Ice and Deathwalker. Double Warrior going to be super hard to beat here in the early game, but Beltway not afraid of going up against the European powerhouse.
As an Osiris player, you're not really afraid of much, honestly. You build up a little bit of those stacks. Interesting idea there. Ice Baby blinking as quickly as possible there. Really trying to abuse that cooldown, even maximizing your farm, getting these Fire Giant Elementals down quicker. quicker, means that you can maybe look for this invade.
And now in goes Deathwalker with the
Level 1.
Weasel. Here comes Beltway taking a lot of damage here. Spinach Property's only level 1, and because the rival are level 2, they're going to be able to pick up this kill. No! Beltway escapes with a sliver of health.
But they're not done yet. They're going to go on to SMITE. He's forced to retreat under his tier 2 tower as well. Blue buff has not been completed. That's why Nocturns was not level 2 to fight this little 2v2 scuffle. Huge tactics coming out of Rival. That blink enabled them to make this invade happen.
I'm really surprised that they are going to show that kind of strategy here in this game because, you know, my thought is with the #1 EU seed going up against the Latin American team, an international squad that has given some North American teams trouble in the past, you want to not only win the set, but you want to win the set and save as much of your strategies as possible for tomorrow.
Knowing Rival, though, their playbook is just almost infinite, honestly. The way Alpha Shackle has been helping out this team as Deathwalker zones out these two while Ice Ice Baby secures the blue buff invade on the left. Even more aggression onto the AMC.
Zion6 forces his beads there. Noitu Lover dashing forward, doesn't catch anyone with the pluck, but they're more than happy to keep going and try and find some more damage onto the duo lane of Rival.
They're not done yet, though. Vote's going to take a little bit of poke for his troubles, but it was Rival just wanting to clear the wave as quickly as possible. You were talking about, you know, saving stuff for tomorrow. Hold that thought, though. Vote using his beads perfectly.
And good work there by Kalas, jumping onto Zion, disarming him, preventing him from doing any auto attack damage there to Vote. Now both ADCs don't have their beads. Nocturns Gaming, though, their beads on Zion 6 are going to come up earlier.
Yeah, and that's going to be the little power play that they can potentially look to exploit. And I think that Rival, they're going to continue this pressure on the right side. You get an advantage in that solo lane. You're looking for some invades. And now, SMITE, look at his levels. He's still level 3 with Beltway, whereas level 5 for both Ice Ice and Deathwalker.
Yeah, that is something you cannot do. Ice Ice and Deathwalker, two of Team Rival's strongest players. You know, you give them a little bit of a lead, they got to turn it into a massive snowball advantage. We know what Deathwalker can do when he's got a lead in that solo lane.
And as an Osiris, you generally want to stay ahead. It's a very difficult god to play from behind because you're just not making the same kind of an impact. You need to be the lane bully, but when Rival is doing things like this, freezing the wave, not even going to, last hitting it to get the most gold out of it, but now it's denying so much golden experience from Beltway, just separating that experience advantage even more. Look at that experience per minute.
That is nasty. To be on the bottom as a solo laner, that is almost spelling out death right there. SMITE taking some damage here from Ice Ice. Raven from ahead is not something you want to get caught out by.
Definitely not. A nice little attempt by Deathwalker. Had he connected that little javelin, maybe we would see an early blink from Ice Ice Baby yet again. I think that's what they're really waiting for on the right side of the map, is looking for another opportunity to find a kill. They couldn't find it earlier on, but they managed to bully out Nocturns to enable them to look for these invades, and buffs are coming up in about a minute or so.
We thought we might see some rust from Rival, given that they haven't played the game in about a week with all the travel they've had to do. Hold that thought. Vote taking a lot of damage here. Zion6 trying to get the one-on-one. He's with the Hives. Vote manages to escape with the barest sliver of health.
Archer's definitely hurting a lot there on the left side. Vote's not too worried right now, though. He has a health potion tick, and he's going to try to go for the red buff with his teammates to sustain a little bit from the Bumba's mask, and that's going to allow him to stay in the lane a little bit longer and maybe try to finish out those Devourer's Gauntlets.
It's so big getting that that item online and getting those stacks up. And when you get another one-on-one fight like that, again, you've got that lifesteal to help you sustain up.
And very importantly, that Zion wasn't able to pick up his stinger again. Those archers were starting to shoot some volleys at him, and those archers, before you get some levels, you definitely feel the impact from those shots.
Good news for the Latin American squad here. They're able to pick up their speed buff. Their blue buff's coming up soon. SMITE is really hanging around this right-hand side, keeping his solo laner safe. They need Beltway to get into this game. They need him to make up some of that experience advantage.
And I like what Ice Ice Baby is doing. He's holding on to all his abilities until Wolfie is here, confirming the red buff. A nice little play there, because Rival, they have the advantage on the right, and now they're making sure that they also have it on the left.
Exactly. They're going to look for these Oracle Harpies, which Nocturns was able to pick up earlier because of the attention that Ice Ice and Deathwalker were giving to the right-hand side.
Something we haven't really touched on quite yet is this mid-build selection. Hold that thought, though. Nocturne's trying to play aggressive, but they weren't in time to steal away that blue.
In goes Beltway. Deathwalker does get his torn off. The chains hit from SMITE there. They pull in Deathwalker, but they see Ice Ice Baby coming around, and they know that with both their ultimates down, this is probably going to go the way of Rival. SMITE taking a lot of damage, just trying to juke his way out here. Can he get it? Ice Ice chasing him down, and there's the ultimate. First blood, Rival.
First blood. Well played by Rival. Even going to poke out Beltway a little bit, but here comes the Sobek lurking in the water, as well as Callus, though. The 1-for-1. They're trying so hard, and they finally get it.
Carlos picks up the kill on a Beltway as well, and now it's going to be Wolfie getting Noi2Lover. NozQ taking a lot of damage from the Taiko drums. Wolfie with a double kill. Rival 4-1 are going to pick up this right-hand side tower.
It's an absolute bloodshed here in day number 2 for the PC side of things. They're doing such a great job already, finding 4 kills at 6 minutes. They were just slowly bleeding Nocturns out, getting a 1,000 gold lead before any kills happen. Now, look at this lead already blow wide open beyond the 3,000 marker.
Yeah, I like the aggression. I like the idea there from Nocturns to, stay aggressive, because when teams get behind, especially these international teams, they tend to play very defensively and almost scared of their opponent, which you cannot do. And so they went in there, but the advantage at that point was so much in Deathwalker's favor. With the level advantage he had, was just too much defense.
There was just the ultimates also being expended by Nocturns, trying to invade the blue buff there away from Deathwalker. The idea was like, okay, Erlang Shen doesn't have CC immunity. As long as you hit the dodgy chain, you're guaranteed to pull him. But at this point, having the sustain from your ultimate as an Erlang Shen, you're just able to be topped off, and that bought enough time also for the rotations from Rival to capitalize.
I love this from Rival as well. Going into Proxy the Wave, and they force out the Lord of the Afterlife ultimate as well. Just absolute domination on this right-hand side. Zion6 has held his own against Vote NBK so far. And Noi2Lover has played pretty well as well, but the right-hand side has been all Rival.
You say proxying, but without a tier 1 tower, honestly, that's their side of the map now. Rival controls that, hands down, cannot contest them whatsoever there. They need to find more safe opportunities to farm. If they're going to find Rival members lurking in their jungle, it needs to be Nocturns outnumbering the opposition.
SMITE gets the ultimate there onto Deathwalker, but honestly, Rival, they're happy to be bulled towards the jungle, being on low health as he is. They're just going to invade this speed buff, and the right-hand side of the map, as you just said, belongs to Rival now.
The 4 members from Rival all grouping up. They found the invade, they bullied one, now they're in the mid lane.
Wolfie picks up, actually it's going to be Carlos that picks up NozQ there. Huge damage coming out of this Raijin. He's already half-stacked his Warlock Sash.
And that's the idea here. You're trying to get more health, more sustain, making sure that you're not going to get bursted down. Another little attempt of an invade, but a nice sidestep from Vote, which also pulls the red buff away from the Stinger.
That tremendous play thus far from Team Rival, really demonstrating why they are the #1 EU seed coming into this tournament, and why, frankly, in a lot of people's opinions, they're the favorite to win the whole thing.
And touching back on the mid lane itemization choices here, you were mentioning the Warlock Sash from Wolfie's Raijin, but also look at NozQ going for this damage style on the Doomor, but hold that thought. Rival are really feeling themselves, going for an early gold here.
The Oracle Harpy should fall their way. In comes Wolfie, actually jumps in there aggressively, doesn't have a whole lot of mana here, and Nocturns, they're looking to steal this one away. Medusa ult just to confirm Rival get the first gold Fury of the game.
That was very close. That window was very small for Rival to get it, but they are such a top-tier elite world team that they know their risk.
No, that was a mistake.
Beautiful shell.
That was a mistake.
The bait.
Yeah, Vote just standing there, low health, such a tempting target, but great work there by the support Carlos, as he said, with a shell. And now Zion6, no mana, looking like it's going to be caught out here as well. And there's the ultimate from Ice Ice Baby. Tail Whip from Noi2Lover saves his ADC temporarily, but now he falls down. And now Noi2, it might be his turn to feel the wrath of Ice Ice Baby.
Just no mana, left alone a little bit too long. The pressure being dealt onto Zion6's Musin Cobb. That's what you really need to do to exploit this god. You got to just lean on him a little bit. Don't allow him to get to the mid to late game comfortably.
Exactly right. And if you look at his items, he hasn't even finished his Devourer's Gauntlets yet. A lot of times with an AMC, if you're kind of staying even with your opponent or you're getting ahead, you have enough sustain with those hives, with something like a Devourer's Gauntlets to maybe sit there and take those trades with the enemy while your teammates rotate over. But when you're behind, like Zion6 is right now, you really can't. You have to be so careful with your positioning.
And not only that, being level 9 only, you don't have your hives maxed out yet. You maxed out your second ability for the lane clear for the potential boxing pressure, but without the mobility from maxed out hives, you're not going to be able to get away from danger. And Rival, yet again, with their second important objective, being uncontested even this time around.
Yeah, pretty much getting the Portal Demon as soon as it spawns here over on the right-hand side. We mentioned that the right-hand side has been completely dominated by Rival, and now the left is as well. The mid lane has been even. We haven't really seen NozQ suffer too much. He is 0-2, but that's been when he's rotated. Looking at SMITE now, doing a lot of damage here to Vote. There's the Daji ult, he hits it, but the Medusa ultimate just to get the CC immunity. Brilliant work there from Vote, and now SMITE needs to run away.
Still looking for opportunities, though, as Nocturns. They're not afraid to take that little risk. Nice little body blocking by Ice Baby. Wolfie over the top is going to force that lurking in the water, preventing himself from getting pulled back in.
Really nice work there from Team Rival. Wolfie level 12, so they have his second relic online very, very soon, which is so important. And Carlos as well, level 12, almost level 12s across the board.
Yeah.
But speaking of second relics and Carlos, he's already got the shell here. What do you think he gets next, like a sprint?
Yeah, it's probably going to be the sprint. I wouldn't even be surprised, honestly, if he goes for Girdle here, trying to get more damage. And you're thinking about it, like he said, Fafnir for objective control, Beltway left alone, no safety under his tier 2 tower.
It was nice knowing you, Beltway. You had your time in the sun yesterday. Today, it's a different beast altogether, and that beast is Deathwalker. It's Ice Baby, it's Wolfie, it's Team Rival.
Rival are just taking the kids away from the candy here, honestly. They're playing lights out. If there was any rust that was assumed Rival would have here going into this first game, none at all. They're playing like the World Elite Champions, just going so far in the spring and the summer split, showing their true dominance here to end 2017.
This is a statement game. They came out here and said, we're going to beat these kids so hard and remind everyone why we are the #1 seed coming into this tournament. And thus far, they've done exactly that. It's 12 minutes in, and they're already about 8,000 gold ahead.
It's really refreshing to see how this team evolved throughout the last year. Being under the Cyclone GG banner, these 5 members still stayed strong. They stayed true to their name. You know, they subbed out the coach here, going from Hazer to Alpha Jackal. And honestly, this team has just got like some new life breathed into them, and they're just showing their stuff right here.
Oh no, Zion 6 getting caught out here. Wolfie with the Taiko drums doing so much damage, but Carlos claims himself another kill. He's great at getting those last hit kills there, just padding his stats.
I mean, Fafnir does a lot of damage, let's be real. He already has Voidstone completed after the Jade Emperor's Crown. He's going to be able to pack a punch, especially with a Girdle.
And Carlos has got a tremendous Fafnir, one of his most played gods all year. Everyone knows that Carlos loves the dwarf.
Look at that net worth. That greedy little dwarf is at the top of it. He's just being able to rake it all in there with the Traveler shoes, being able to get a little bit of extra gold there because he's playing Fafnir. That's what you're really trying to do, get these power spike items online.
He's not playing support this game. He's playing like an extra mage or an extra solo laner right now. That's his style. Even with his build with the Voidstone, as you mentioned, I mean, they're so far ahead, he can afford to. People
don't really expect how much damage Fafnir can actually do, especially once you transform into that dragon. You hit that hammer stun, and then you're going to be eating a lot of ticks of damage. So even a little bit of penetration, such as the Voidstone, goes a long way. And honestly, with such a lead from Rival, they can afford to go pure damage from here on out on Callus.
Looking at his opposite number though, Noitu Lover still level 10, no level 12s on the side of Nocturns Gaming. That means no second relics.
This is going to be very tricky for them to stay relevant in this game. They're down 10,000 gold, not even 14 minutes in. They're without a tier 1 tower in every single lane. They're pushed back as far as they possibly can, and it's Rival just bleeding Nocturns out ever so slowly as they're going to be able to get their second gold fury for free this time.
Completely uncontested, don't even need to use any ultimates whatsoever with this one. All of Nocturns Gaming are on the upper right-hand side of the map, looking to try and secure their own speed buff or their own blue buff, because let's be real, they haven't seen them a whole lot this game.
Those graphs basically tell the story here, folks. The Rivals were able to invade the speed buff with a beautiful blink play. We haven't seen that kind of a strategy, actually, being able to blink into neutral camps. Usually when you blink in for something, you're doing it to engage or maybe to disengage away from somebody, not to try to escalate your farming so you can look for an innovate after.
And you kind of think about it and you're like, it makes sense as well to do that, because you're probably not going to be using that blink anytime soon at the start of the game. You're not going to be looking to blink until probably level 3 or 4, and may as well just go for it. Fire Giant now being pulled here by Rival.
Yeah, they're definitely feeling themselves here as Deathwalker is going to basically tanking up a little bit while Wolfie DPSs it down alongside Foe, Ice Baby zoning alongside Callus. They're now switching their attention into the backline.
They're all onto Nocturne so quickly. Wolfie picks up one with the Taiko drums, and Callus gets a kill onto SMITE as well. Rival steamrolling Nocturns right now.
They're trying to quit the program and the game here. Rival are trying to get the Fire Giant. Portal Demon now being looked out. They baited out SMITE and Beltway. They found the 2 easy picks, and now they're getting the Portal Demon. Vote's gonna back, take that portal, finish his items, and secure the first Fire Giant of the game.
Nocturns Gaming has been Control Alt deleted this game. Fire Giant being started up now by Team Rival again. Last time it was merely a bait, or it might have been a serious call, and it was. That's actually even more impressive with the speed they were able to turn onto Nocturns as soon as they saw they had the advantage. Fire Giant getting shredded down now by Rival, and it falls down. 15, now 16 minutes into the game.
There's not even that much player damage across the board here. Whenever a team is dominating this hard, you're looking to expect, you know, tens of thousands of damage here, but no, this has just been a slow and steady game. There's not even that much health on the side of Nocturnes to do that much damage. Everyone's just getting bursted down so heavily. The tankiness from Beltway is non-existent. He's 0-3-1, and this early Osiris pick definitely not favoring the LATAM team.
Which is odd, because yesterday that is exactly what it did. Ice Baby blinking in, looking for SMITE here, who takes a lot of damage. Possible tower dive coming out here with a very tanky color.
I mean, when you have Fire Giant already 16.5 minutes in, you're trying to look for the ways to end the game, and they're going to take a relatively safe approach here. They're going to try to zone them out while they're getting this tier 2 tower. Wolfie's going to bait out that Aegis on Zion 6. He's going to be a very easy target now once Ice Baby's blink is available.
Deathwalker gets plucked in under tower, but he's more than happy to do that. Noise2 Lover's going to pay for his aggression.
Wow.
Beautiful ult there from Vote, who actually catches out Nosq, who's forced to bees and run away. Beltway doing what he can for his mid laner, but the girdle is popped, and the Phoenix is the target. SMITE goes in with the Dajio, trying to pull some targets here, and now jumping away.
Trying to escape. Vote's going to force out another Aegis there. A great play there. That Petrify was so huge to help find the kill there, even doing a lot of damage, zoning Nocturnes enough away into their own time room to get this mid Phoenix.
See you, Beltway. It was nice to know you. Middle Phoenix falls down as well. There's a tier 2 tower left on the left-hand side that Rival are heading straight towards. Nosq coming to do what he can here, but with this Discordia, he hasn't really been able to do much, and it's been such a, I feel like a prioritized pick by them.
Yeah,
you know, but we haven't really seen it do much.
Discordia is a relatively new pick here, and this is something that we've seen a lot at HRX in general in yesteryear. Like, these new gods generally get a little bit of play time by certain people because they're expecting maybe the enemy team hasn't played against this god, so like, okay, how can you really handle this?
Well, talk to me a little bit about Discordia in general. What does she bring? Why do you think the Latin American team, other than the fact that it's a newer god, why do you think they might have picked this character?
She's just the goddess of strife, and that's what she brings to the battleground of the gods. She's able to create a lot of chaos between crippling people with her golden apple, which also does a secondary explosion similar to Cupid's heart bomb. You know, she can lower her cooldowns with her escape. Her third ability goes through walls. You can use it as long as you stay in the stealth fog. Your first and second ability gets lowered in cooldown. Your second ability is very important because you hit 2 or more members. Now they're going to be fighting against each other.
Look at the itemization here from Team Rival. Third item, just counting boots, third item, Rod Tahuti, double stacking for Wolfie with 0 penetration other than on those boots. 2 Blood Forges, 1 from Deathwalker, 1 from Ice Baby.
They're feeling themselves. Look at their buffs also. Outside of Fire Giant, you got 2 purples, 2 reds, and a speed buff onto Ice Baby. There's like a rainbow forming for Rival.
This is pretty much the perfect situation to be in as a team from ahead.
Look at that speed buff and Fire Giant around Ice Baby, so man. Cool. I would not want to go near him at all here.
I mean, Nocturns Gaming might not have a choice here as Team Rival are looking to push into their base, pushing the mid wave in.
Man's not hot over there in the mid lane while the rest of his team on the left is trying to get the Phoenix, their second one of the game. Ice Baby still trying to isolate somebody away, but instead he's going to look for the flank, it looks like.
Yeah, he's trying to catch out SMITE, who's very, very weak. Noise2 Lover goes in, and again, it's just absolutely destroyed by Team Rival. SMITE heading up, Vote with a great Petrify here. SMITE doing what he can, only pulls in Deathwalker, but everyone on Rival is still so healthy, and Nocturns, they're all so low.
Deathwalker is going to zone away 4 strong members as Ice Baby dunks down. Zion is able to take out Wolf, but it's Wolfie with a hot triple kill.
There's the girdle pop. Nosq, the only member of Nocturnes left up. Wolfie trying to get his 4th kill of this engagement. Actually, it looks like it's Vote who wants another kill. Carlos going to turn into the dragon just to end the game on a higher note, and that's going to be it. Game 1.